My name's Lauren Matthews. I'm a dating and relationship coach. Welcome to my channel. Here you will find encouragement and hope and practical advice to help you demystify modern dating and welcome the love that you've been longing for. Especially if you're a Christian. Do you want to go on dates? It may seem like a silly question for a relationship coach to ask, but I think it's one that warrants our sincere consideration. For most of human history, families have been formed for one of two reasons: consolidation of power or survival. You know what I'm talking about. If you found yourself at the upper echelons of your particular society, then your marriage was about consolidating power, unifying two tribes or people groups or regions. That's what makes historical characters like Isabel of Spain so amazing. She rejected her family's push to marry a particular person for a particular power alignment and chose a love match and her own assertion of power consolidation. But that's another story. And if you found yourself at the lower echelons of your particular society, then your marriage was about surviving. It was about finding someone who was sturdy enough to make enough people so that you could support the family farm and keep living. That's not to say that there weren't components of romantic love or passion or true fulfillment involved in these relationships of bygone eras. But the priorities of the modern single are nowhere near the priorities of those ages past. And it's important to keep that in mind as we evaluate how people are forming families, getting married. Now, to be sure, people are still marrying for power consolidation or survival. But for a lot more people, maybe more than ever before in history, people are really relishing the freedom of choice they're experiencing. Not just to choose who they marry, but to choose if they marry. More and more adults seem to be choosing to remain single, especially over the last 40 or 50 years. So it behooves us to think about this question. In sincerity, do you want to go on dates? You may be considering this question again for the first time in a long time, or maybe the first time ever. Do I want to go on dates, or am I content with the beautiful life that I'm building through my God-given purpose? The life that you're building is exhibited through your God-given, purpose-driven work that you sense a call to, the communities that you're vibrantly a part of and actively building, whether that be in your neighborhood or in your faith context. They're exhibited through the relationships with your friends and family that you're nurturing and tending to. So it's well within the realm of possibility. It's probable that the beautiful life you're living is so filling up your soul you don't feel drawn to or desirous of a married existence. If you spend any amount of time on my channel, then you will hear me talk about the unhelpful parts of the purity culture movement. And one of them that really impacts what we're talking about today is this notion that the only life worth living is a married life, that somehow nothing else matters until you get married. But that's an abject lie. It may seem like a strange thing for a dating and relationship coach to be vehemently championing the cause of, but it's so important. I'm dedicated to telling you the truth at every turn, and the truth is this: a married life is not a better life than a single life. Married life is not the be-all end-all. It doesn't make or break you. Single life is good. So come back to the main point of this video with me. Do you really want to go on dates? Because if you do, there are practical steps you can take to put yourself in the way of the love that you long for. And I'll teach you about that in other videos. And if you don't, what a great thing to know about yourself. Kudos to you for discerning about who you are and what you're called to do in this world, that you know waiting around or grasping for a married existence isn't what you want. Please embrace that freedom and live the life God's called you to with confidence and with all of your energy. But before I go, I want to offer 2 words of warning, especially if you were quick to say, no, I don't want the dating life. First, don't let the really great reasons there are to choose the single life be a mask or a cover or an excuse for not dealing with your fears and your insecurities. Opening yourself up to romantic love is a vulnerability, and in it, there are so many opportunities to fear. You may fear being rejected. You may fear being overlooked. You may fear never getting the thing that you keep putting yourself out there for. But pretending that you don't want to get married because you're afraid is not going to erase that desire in your heart. You must look those fears in the face. And with trusted community and with God, you can do that and come out on the other side confident enough to pursue the thing that you want and not pretend that you don't want it. Second, don't let the really great reasons there are to choose the single life mask or be an excuse for not doing the work to grow in areas you know you're found wanting in. Some of us are bound by our addictions. We're wallowing in a history of unhealthy relationship with ourselves, with our friends, with our family, or otherwise resisting growth. We're pretending we don't want to be married because we're so afraid that we won't be able to be husbands and wives. Protection from fear and cynicism are not enough to save you from the real desire in your heart to be married. With those 2 warnings out of the way, I recognize that choosing the single life is not an all or nothing decision. For many of us, we fluctuate in our excitement to find love, and I think that's okay. Once you recognize you are interested in pursuing romantic love, you'll have to deal with what's been lost in time and opportunity, but that's like any other normal part of life. A decision for one thing means that we're rejecting other things, and while that may mean a season of grief over something that we've missed out on, we believe that there are still plenty of opportunities moving forward. So let's say you've chosen the single life. I want to help you live it well with 2 small pieces of advice in this video. Other videos will definitely have more, but for now, keep this in mind. You want to have 2 kinds of conversations ready to go. The first one is for people who are not so invested in your life. You wouldn't call them your trusted community or anything, but they are the kind of people who feel inclined sometimes to make rude comments or question you about your singleness. Why are you still single? Why aren't you trying to date? You better hurry up. You know what I'm talking about. For people that fall into this category, they're not closely connected to you. They're not your trusted community. Have ready a pithy, not rude, but pithy one-liner that helps them know their concern is not necessary. I think in light of something like this, I'm still single because I haven't found someone worth uprooting all this wonderful life for yet. And leave it at that. The other group of people I want you to think about is your trusted community. Those people who are pouring into you and you are pouring into them. They're your tribe. They're maybe your church community group or a singles group that you're a part of. Friends and family from different parts of your life. But they're the people you trust to know you and to love you in return. With those folks who may be wondering, is she going to want to get married? Is he looking for someone? You might find it helpful to have a direct conversation with them in which you share that for the time being, for now or for the long haul, you don't think that marriage is something you're pursuing. This allows them to not awkwardly try to navigate around relationship questions with you. The last bit of advice I have for you, if you have chosen the single life, is live it up. Let your life be full and confident about this beautiful thing that you think God is calling you to. Investigate, determine, and walk confidently in your God-given purpose for this season, maybe for your whole life. Invest yourself in the ministries and community organizations, volunteerism, and everything else that God is calling you to. And enjoy. The single life is not a selfish life. The single life is one worthy of our respect and worth living fully and confidently, unabashedly. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, like it, subscribe to this channel, share the video with your friends or your church singles group. Watch it together and let it foster good communication so that your church can be a great support for you. And let me know in the comments what was helpful, what was not helpful, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Let's chop it up there. If you're interested in being regularly connected with me, besides pushing the bell so that you can always get updates of when I upload a new video, consider joining my e-newsletter. It comes twice a month and is full of really helpful information. So whether here or in the newsletter, I can't wait till the next time we connect.